What's up guys, Paul from Sklar Fit. Welcome. Today, shoulders. And we're gonna do shoulders with bands. I'm gonna show you 3 of my favorite band exercises to build and sculpt shoulders. So don't get confused between building and sculpting. We're working the shoulders. We're gonna isolate them, we're gonna squeeze them tight, and we're gonna see nice results. Now, let me start by saying that bands do not replace dumbbells or barbells. They are an alternative to them. Now, you may look at this video and say, he doesn't get his shoulders like that just by using bands, and you would be 100% correct. I use many different types of equipment, so not just bands, but I am going to show you how to make these bands more effective with your workout. Now, a lot of people will tell you you cannot build muscles with resistance band. I'm going to tell you that that is BS. You can tell them that they are absolutely wrong. You certainly can build resistance with resistance band, assuming you use the proper resistance, you have the proper contraction, and it's part of a well-rounded program. A lot of you have also asked, well, what's the difference between resistance bands and traditional weight being dumbbells and barbells? The difference is that the further you take your resistance band handle away from the fulcrum or axis, the harder it gets. It's just like a rubber band. If you take a rubber band and you stretch it as far as you can, it gets challenging. And then when you release the rubber band in here, no challenge at all. The main difference between a resistance band and traditional weight is the further that you stretch it, the harder it becomes. So there's different levels of resistance throughout the range of motion of any particular exercise. Further away, harder; closer in, easier. A barbell or dumbbell, by comparison, the weight remains constant throughout the entire range of motion. So it's just as hard here, just as heavy here, as it is if I press it up overhead. So that weight remains constant throughout the entire range of motion, as opposed to the varying resistance of a resistance band. So what else can you do to make resistance bands more challenging and more effective? You can combine them with your regular program. You can combine them with traditional weight training exercises. This is going to be a shocker for some of you. You can do it before or after. So if I want to pre-exhaust my muscles before I get to my traditional weight training, I can use my resistance bands to do that. I can get them pumped, jacked, fatigued, tired, and then load with traditional weight. I can also do it the opposite way. I can use my traditional weight first if I want to use more weight, more explosive exercises, and wind down to a resistance band and finish my workout with it. High reps, high tension, high fatigue. Now, probably the most important thing when you're using bands as far as making them most effective is choosing the correct resistance for the exercise that you're doing. You want to make sure that it's challenging. So if you use a band that's got 2 or 3 pounds worth of resistance, you're probably not going to see the results you want. So I've been using covered resistance bands for years. You've seen me use these in my videos before. I've got them linked in the description below. So if you need a pair, go down and grab them. This is a heavy band. I typically work with heavy and extra heavy bands. They tend to give me the best results for the exercises that I use them for. The great thing about the 3 exercises that I'm going to show you today, not only do they work shoulders, they also work your abs. So pay attention when you're doing your exercises. Make sure that you contract your abs just as hard as you do your shoulders. Now, another great thing about bands is that you can take them anywhere. They're compact. You can stick them in a suitcase. You can put them in your car, leave them in the trunk of your car. If you find that you're on the road and you want to just stop somewhere and actually get some work done, you can take them out quickly and get the job done. Okay, let's get to it. 3 band exercises that build and sculpt your shoulders. Let's go. Now, before we get started, we're going to talk about foot position on the band. Where do you place your feet on the band? The closer that you have your feet together on the band, the less resistance you will have. So if you need more resistance, you step further out on the band. Make sure that the band is equal distance on both sides. So once you get your feet in the band, you want to do a little bit of a test where you lift the handles gently and just make sure that they're even. All right, now that you've got your feet on the band, you may need to do a little bit of trial and error before you start. So I've got my feet about 6 inches apart on the band. I've got my handles nice and even. So if I go out for our first exercise, which is the lateral raise, if I reach out and I find that there's a good amount of resistance, I'm good to go. If not, I may need to bring my feet closer together or wider apart. Same thing goes for all of the other band exercises. Okay, so let's finally get started. We're gonna start with an iso lateral raise hold. So we're gonna bring the bands out. Now, as you stretch them, you're gonna feel that nice solid resistance on them. I'm now at a point where I feel my shoulders contracting hard. I feel my abdominals contracting hard. I'm gonna slowly, from this position, lower one until I almost can't feel any more resistance, bring it right back up. So it's a very small motion of about 6 to 8 inches. Same thing with the other. So I bring it down, bring it right back up. So we are going to start with 20 of these. tight shoulders. And 1, 2, remember to contract the abdominals. 4, 5, already feeling resistance. 6, because I've got the right resistance band. 8, 9, 10. We got 12, how we doing? 13, 14, 15, 16, don't lose resistance. 17, 18, 19, 20. Here's the tough part, adding this in now. 5, same time. 4, 3, you should be shaking. 2, and 1, solid hold, release. We're gonna rest about 10, 15 seconds just to make sure that our shoulders can recover. The next exercise is the iso hold front shoulder raise. So now we're gonna work the anterior or front part of the shoulder. Same deal, we bring our bands out. This is where I've got solid resistance. And I raise 1 just below shoulder height, back down. 2, going for 20. 3, 4, don't forget the abdominals. 5, 6, so I'm constantly under tension. 7, 8, 9, make sure you're breathing. 10, we've got 10, burning like crazy. 9, if you're not. 8, probably doing something wrong. 7, 6, don't bring those hands down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you know what we're doing. 5, that's 5, 4, 3, short motion. 2, and 1. Beautiful burn. Wow, I'm on fire, I hope you are. So we're gonna rest about another 10 to 15 seconds again. If you need to rest a little longer, rest a little longer. The key is completing. Now, with the next, the alternating shoulder press, we wanna take our bands. I wanna come inside here like this, so that when I get up to start, you can see my bands are in a neutral position. You can also, if you want, bring them back here, but if you notice, when I press, they're gonna burn the back of my arms, and I don't wanna burn the back of my arms. So an easy fix for this, bring your handles in front to a neutral position. You'll get the same out of it. Let's get started. So if you can't get full extension on it, you may need to come in. So I'm bringing my feet a little bit closer together. One other trick with this overhead press, if you need to, bend your knees a little. So if I bend my knees, I can now get a full extension up, whereas before, I wasn't able to. So bend your knees if you have to, shorten up, get your feet closer together on the band. Let's hit it. So we're inside. We've got a very simple 10 to finish here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, tight abs, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What do you think we're doing? We're gonna get 5 together. 5, tight. 4, tight. 3, hang in, we got it. 2, and last one. Oh, that was a beautiful burn. Magnificent. If you made it through that, fantastic. 3 to 5 more rounds. This is my standard. I like high repetitions, I like volume, I like conditioning while isolating the muscle at the same time. Don't get isolation confused with lack of work, because it is not. There are times for compound movements and there are times for isolated movements. Today was an isolated movement kind of day. You can do these before you go out to the pool if you want to get your shoulders pumped up and your abs pumped up so they're glistening and chiseled. Great thing to do. Do it before you get to the beach. Bring your bands with you wherever you go. They're a fantastic tool to use, again, as an alternative to traditional barbell and dumbbell training. If you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I always enjoy hard work, please subscribe to my channel. I will be back next Sunday for next week's segment. Let's go.